WBC Sports World Special Edition. This is the Palazzetto dello Sport, the Palace of Sports in Marsala, Sicily. And we are live on NBC from Sicily, along with Ken Norton. I am Stu Nahan, and we bid you welcome to our telecast from Sicily, which will involve Mr. Parlov, Mr. Mate Parlov of Yugoslavia. He goes against Marvin Johnson of Indianapolis. But we want to kind of bring you up to date on where we are. We're about 60 miles southwest of Palermo, Sicily. We're about 600 miles from Rome. We're on the western side of Sicily, and this little city of Marsala, about 86,000, has been all agog about this big fight. It's the first time they've ever had a title fight in Marsala, which, of course, is known for its winemaking around the country. I want to talk with Ken Norton about this fight because both fighters have high credentials. Let's talk about Parlov, who won the title last January, what he can do in the ring.
Well, he surprised everyone with a devastating left hand in the last fight he had. He had the man on the end of a jab, and he surprisingly came across with a straight left hand as the man was backing up and dropped him, which shows you he has a devastating left hand. He has good power in that hand.
Parlov, of course, was a Olympic champion, light heavyweight champion, won a gold medal in 1972. And Johnson comes in with good credentials. But we want to tell you, as we mentioned, that there's a lot of excitement here in Marsala about this fight. There's also a lot of excitement about what's going on across the island of Sicily. About 250 miles to the east of where we now stand, the town of Catania, Sicily, where 4 days ago, Mount Etna erupted. And one of the large volcanoes, 10,000-foot mountain, erupted, one of the largest eruptions in recent years. They had an eruption like this several years ago in which some of the folks living below had to flee for their lives because of the lava coming down. As of a couple of hours ago, it was still flowing freely over there, and there's a little bit of excitement because of what's going on there. But about what's going on here with the excitement here, what is the importance of this fight to Marvin Johnson, coming to a foreign country knowing what he has to do? He's got to win this fight to try to get his title.
He has to win the fight. He has to win the big. And the funny thing about this is that Marvin Johnson is a sentimental favorite here. Everyone that we question wants Johnson to win because he's the underdog, and he's kind of captured the fancy of everyone in the neighborhood.
Okay, we're going to be returning to Marsala, and we'll be talking with the fighters. But first, let's take this pause for these messages from your local stations. The two fighters, Mate Parlov and Marvin Johnson, are quartered right outside this little small sports palace in downtown Marsala. And a few moments ago, Ken Norton went out there to talk with the two fighters. He first talked with Mate Parlov, who was the first European boxer from behind the Iron Curtain to hold a title fight. Here's how that conversation went.
We're now sitting in the champion's room, Mate Parlov, and he seems very confident. Mate, I have one question for you. It's a very small ring. It's said that you're a very good boxer. You like to move from side to side. I'm wondering if the small ring is going to affect your strategy any.
I didn't see that it's smaller than normal ring, but if it's smaller, it's not important for me. I'm a better boxer.
Go. Round one. The two southpaws in action. The light heavyweight champion, defending for the second time, Mate Parlov, against Marvin Johnson of the United States. Parlov from Yugoslavia.
If you notice, too, Mate Parlov's jab is more of a pushing jab, the kind that cuts you, it hits you and it pushes you off.
Roland Dakin is the referee, veteran, 25 years in the ring, 16 title fights. He told us earlier that the rules, as explained to him by the Italian Boxing Federation here, should a fight have to be stopped because of a cut while a doctor takes a look at it, or a bell cannot save a fighter. A bell cannot save a fighter. If he gets up after the bell, before the count of 10, he'll still have a full minute of rest to continue the fight, if he can continue off on his own power. All right. We're in the first round here. We're about a minute and a half in, and we're watching Mate Parlov in action against Marvin Johnson for the light heavyweight championship of the world here at Marsala, Sicily. The ring is not the normal size, Ken. We talked about, you and I were chatting about that at dinner tonight.
That's true. I walked the ring off. I got a 16 by 16, which is a very small ring. And it would seem as though it would be an advantage to Marvin Johnson because he is basically a slugger, a man that likes to get in close using power.
We should point out the normal ring size is 18 by 18. And you're watching this live at NBC Sports World Special Edition from Marsala, Sicily. Parlov, nose reddening up just a little bit now from Johnson. We're at the 2-minute mark of the first round. Parlov has had quite a bit of scar tissue over the eyes, and that was a topic for discussion at the Federation meeting this morning. No special bandages. Sometimes he likes to wear some type of a bandage to cover that scar tissue, but it's not being allowed in this fight.
No, it isn't. All you can use here is a thin...
Johnson's opening up on him, Ken, a little bit here in this first round. 30 seconds to go.
As I was stating before, you can use a thin film of Vaseline if you sustain a cut.
That's
all.
all.
Not use the collodion, the hard, thick stuff.
15 seconds to go in round one. Now the 15-round light heavyweight title fight. Johnson landing here in the closing seconds of the first round. Marsala, Sicily, as Marvin Johnson goes against the champion, Martin Parlov of Yugoslavia.
If you notice, now Marvin is pressing the action. He threw a good right-hand jab with the right hook right behind it. Both landed. He's throwing good left uppercuts. They're landing. At the present time, he's definitely taking charge of this fight.
Johnson 21-2 with 60 knockouts. Parlov 22-1, 11 knockouts. And he staggered Parlov, but Parlov comes back with a left hand. Parlov knocked out Miguel Cuello in the 9th round in January to win this title. And he's in for a fight tonight as Johnson's not backing off of him at all.
He's not backing off, Stu, and Johnson is definitely finding an opening with the the left uppercut right up the middle.
Marvin Johnson, a very physical fighter. He's got a piston-like left jab and a right. Ooh, he landed a right hand and a left hand to Parlov right above us here. And Parlov knows he's in a fight. We're in round two, no knockdowns yet, but this promises to be a bruiser. Parlov, pawing with that left, takes a sharp right. Two southpaws, and a left hand by Johnson. Caught Parlov backing away. He comes with 2 minutes gone here in round two. So it's been Marvin Johnson carrying the fight to the light heavyweight champion here early in the going.
If you notice already, Parlov is cut. Marty Parlov is cut right above his right eye.
And he's got a bit of a bulge on his nose also. There's above the bridge of the nose.
I think that's been there for quite a while.
The left hand draws blood some more. So Parlov begins to bleed here in round two. He's been known to take a lot of punishment when he fights. Johnson going to work on it. 2.5 minutes into round two. Johnson, a recent bridegroom. I've been married about 6 weeks to a young lady named Dolores that he went to high school with back in Indianapolis. Trying to win a light heavyweight title for his bride right now. 20 seconds to go, and Parlov trying to come back. Round two.
Parlov is starting to bleed very profusely above his eyes. And I stated before, it's kind of a bad cut being above the eye.
We begin round three of this light heavyweight title fight, Marcel Italy. Marvin Johnson against Mate Parlov, the champion, and it's Johnson so far carrying the fight to Parlov. Don't forget a lot of football coming up tomorrow. Big doubleheader on NBC, December the 3rd. Baltimore the Jets, Miami and Washington. Don't forget Pittsburgh plays Houston, New England, and Dallas among the others. Consult your local listing for the game and times in your area. And NFL 78 airs 1/2 hour before the game in your area. Well, I'm impressed by Marvin Johnson, Ken Norton. He's not taking any backing away at all from Parlov. He's barreling in there since the opening bell. We're in round 3 right now. No knockdowns, and he's carrying the fight.
That's right. He's shuffling in. He's throwing that straight right hand to the body. He's using the right hook. He's coming across with the straight left hand, and it's definitely working for him right now. He's keeping Parlov off balance.
Parlov's manager, Boris Komarich, did a little bit of a patch job on that right eye, but it's starting to bleed a little bit again from some punches he's taken from Johnson. Johnson managed by Arnold Weiss of Philadelphia. Actually, Marvin fights out of Philadelphia. His hometown is Indianapolis, but he also fights out of Joe Frazier's boxing club out there in South Broad Street in Philadelphia.
Well, the gym he's working at is Joe Frazier's gym, and in that gym you learn a lot quick. You survive or you don't make it.
Marvin Johnson, the champion nuts. I'm going right after this man. Parlov making his second title defense.
If you'll notice through the jab that Marvin Johnson is throwing, it's straight, it's sharp, and it's hard. It's a power jab. What he's trying to do is keep that cut open, keep the jab in the man's face, keep him blinded. Then he can come across with the hard right hook and the left uppercut.
Parlov defended his title for the first time in his own hometown of Belgrade, but it took the decision by President Tito of Yugoslavia to sanction that fight. Ooh, a tremendous right hand by Johnson. Caught Parlov. He was looking for a left, and he took a right hand. Johnson right above us now, trying to work on Parlov. And Mate, whose nickname is Teo, trying to come back.
You notice right there, Johnson threw a very good double left hook. He threw a right hook, the left-handed. He threw a hard right hand to the body, came back over the top with a hard hook.
We are in round 3, and so far it has been Marvin Johnson's fight. The challenger from Indianapolis and Philadelphia trying to take the title away from the Yugoslav, Mate Parlov. Closing moments of round 3.
How does a...
We begin round 4 of this light heavyweight title fight, coming to you live on NBC's special edition of Sports World. Along with Ken Norton, I'm Stu Nahan, and we're in Marsala, Sicily, watching Marvin Johnson, the challenger in the white trunks on the left, go against the light heavyweight champion, Mate Parlov. Parlov won the title last January when he knocked out Coelho, but he's got his hands full now with this young challenger, who is ranked 7th in the WBC and determined to move up the ladder and maybe take home the marbles tonight. No knockdowns in the fight so far.
Right now, see Marvin Johnson trying a different tactic. He was throwing 2 hard jabs, and then he faked the straight left hand to the face and drop and throw it to the kidney area.
2 right hand jabs thrown by Marvin Johnson caught Parlov right on the old nose. Right there. And that nose has been broken a couple of times. You can take a good look. Parlov covering up. Johnson now moving just a little bit slower than he was in the first 3 rounds. Parlov trying to stick that right hand. So far, Parlov really hasn't landed too many telling blows. He did get a left hand in there to Johnson as they were moving away from the ropes. And right above us now, Marvin opening up on Parlov. Oh, Marvin Johnson moving in now, missing with an overhand left hand. The 2 southpaws working at each other. Now Johnson begins to open up a little bit on Parlov.
Stu, I don't know what it is, but it seems as though Parlov, the champion, seems to be just a little bit off balance. He's not initiating
it's possible he's never fought a left-hander before. He's left-handed, but you got to go. You don't have a record about how many left-handers he's fought, but that could be a problem. He's just backing away, completely befuddled by Johnson now. We understand that if your picture at home, wherever you're watching our telecast from Marsala, Sicily, is a little bit grainy, we are experiencing some technical problems, and our technicians are working on this problem, so please try to bear with us. Here we are. We've got 30 seconds to go in round 4 of this scheduled 15-round light heavyweight title fight, and Parlov is just standing around now. He's taking every shot Johnson's thrown at him, missing some. And on occasion, Parlov tries to come back, as he did there. Johnson. Maybe Parlov is playing possum. Maybe he wants Johnson to punch himself out, but Parlov is bleeding again over that right eye. 5 seconds to go in the round. Round 4. All right, we begin round 5. They patched up Monte Parlov's right eye once again between rounds there, and Johnson immediately trying to go to work on it. Now, they won't stop the fight. The referee, Roland Dakin, told us if a cut is sustained, he will call an attending ringside physician over to look at it. He himself, Dakin, doesn't have the power to stop a fight on a cut. The physician has the final word. We want to talk about that protective thing he was wearing over his eyes, that plastic. Maybe you can explain that, Kenny.
Well, the thing about that, Stu, is that the referee has stated prior to the fight that they cannot use anything untouched except a thin film of Vaseline. If the man puts the plastic over his eye, the collodion, the referee has stated that he will pull it off, which will make the cut even worse. So
good look at Parlov, and he's puffing up there as he's being stuck by Johnson. Take a look at that eye if we possibly can. It's his right eye. Johnson landing once again.
That's right, Stu. And those jabs he's throwing are they're good, hard, stiff power jabs. On the cut he has above his eye, he's getting hit repeatedly on that one spot, and it's bound to get deeper. It's above the eye, it's bound to start bleeding more, and it's bound to cause it to impair his vision.
Parlov has never fought in the United States. All of his fights have been in Europe. And it's hard to tell how many of the fighters he's ever fought have been left-hander. It could be that Johnson's left-handed style is befuddling him. It's the only thing I can figure. Because Parlov had a better fight against Coelho than he's having right now against Johnson.
That's true, but then again, Johnson has only fought 2 left-handers.
Well,
so they're both a bit awkward because of the fact that they're fighting left-hander this evening. But as you notice, Johnson in the white trunks is pressing the action. He's getting in close where he doesn't have to stay outside and take a chance on getting hit with the jabs. He's not giving Monte Parlov a chance to think, to do what he really wants to do.
He is carrying the fight to Monte Parlov. Along with Ken Norton, I'm Stu Nahan, and you're watching this light heavyweight title fight live on NBC Sports World Special Edition from Marsala, Sicily. Late on a Saturday night. We are in round 5. No knockdowns yet, but Johnson has been punishing Parlov around the head with right jabs and left overhand drives. He's pushing him back. Got 30 seconds to go in round 5. Parlov has had the fight brought to him through these first 5 rounds, and the only time he lands is when Johnson misses one, like he did then, and he's off balance.
Right, Johnson misses, and he tries to counter with a straight left hand.
5 seconds to go in the round. All right, we begin round 6. Kenny Norton, you figure Parlov might change his style at this particular time. You think he might start to do something at this point?
He should, but I doubt very seriously if he will. Because right now, Marvin Johnson isn't giving him an opportunity to do as such. I was watching Parlov in the corner.
Well, Parlov landed a couple of punches there on Johnson as he got him coming in. He's got power. Go ahead, Kenny.
He's got good power in his straight left hand. But in the corner, I've heard the trainer say take 3 or 4 deep breaths to revive yourself. But it seems to me that Marty Parlov was just breathing deeply throughout the round.
Some of the fans here who were pro-Johnson before the fight because he was the underdog are now yelling, Parlov, Parlov. And Parlov had that one little flurry there. He seems to be puffing. He's taking deep breaths there. We know that he had to really stretch a little bit to get down to the 175-pound limit, which he made by a quarter of a pound. Johnson was 2.5 pounds lighter than Parlov at 172.25.
Right now, very good left hook by Johnson. Very good left hook. Right now, he's applying the pressure. Pardon me, right hook. He's applying the pressure well. He's following the instructions from his corner. They're hollering out, apply more pressure, more left hook. And this is what he's trying to do.
Now Parlov covering up here in the corner. He's taken an awful lot of punches in this fight from Johnson.
Quite a few punches. And the thing that for Marvin Johnson to do now, he's thrown quite a few hooks to the head. He's landed. Another good right hook by Johnson. The thing for him to do now is to alternate a bit, go from body to head, head to body, mix it up a little bit. If he can go downstairs in the man's stomach, he can take half the energy away from the man.
You have a tendency to say a left hook because he's throwing his right hand, because most of the fighters you're seeing actually are right-handed.
That's very true. I'm an orthodox fighter, which means I'm a right-handed fighter, so I have a tendency to say left hook.
Parlov.
That was a very good body shot then. He went downstairs with the right hook to the body. This was going to help him later on in the round. Those body shots definitely hurt you. They take it away from you.
They make you suck it up down there so they can land up topside. We've got 45 seconds to go in round 6. No knockdowns in the fight, but so far it's been the challenger Marvin Johnson carrying the fight to the light heavyweight champion Monty Parlov here at Marsala, Sicily.
Stu will also find out what kind of shape Marvin Johnson's in. He's been throwing a lot of hard punches. He's been missing a few, but then again, he's initiating all the action. We'll see if he's in good shape and he can continue this same pace.
He's never had to go 15 rounds before.
Not at this pace, anyway.
No, sir. Longest he's ever gone is 10, and as a professional. All right, we've got about 7 seconds to go now in round 6. We are in round 7 of this scheduled 15-round light heavyweight title fight between Monty Parlov in the blue trunks and the challenger Marvin Johnson out of Philadelphia and Indianapolis.
Stu, I'll tell you something. I saw that round between the rounds I've never seen before.
What was that, kid?
The corner man gave Marty Parlov a glass of water. In fact, there's a mouthpiece laying on the floor now.
Marvin Johnson opening up on Monty Parlov. It is Parlov who has lost his mouthpiece. Parlov took a sip of water, which is allowed. That's all you are allowed under the rules of the federation. What happens when you lose that mouthpiece out there?
It's a very dangerous thing, especially the way that Marvin Johnson is fighting. He's throwing uppercuts. He's throwing good hard power jabs. And this can cut you. Your teeth are there, your lips are there, and this is very bad. You can obtain a severe cut that way, and if your mouth is bleeding, it's very hard to breathe through your mouth. The man's bleeding above his eye. He's worried.
Parlov continues to back away here in round 7. He's had the title less than a year.
The main thing about losing your mouthpiece is you lose your teeth also.
Yeah. The amazing thing about it, coincidentally, is that when Parlov defended his title successfully in Belgrade against Conte last June, Marvin Johnson fought on the undercard and lost. Lost about to Lati Mawali of Zambia. One of the only other loss he had was to Franklin, to whom Parlov also lost.
So that must be
a parallel.
Right, so that must be a plus factor for him in this fight, and that Parlov had to see that fight. So therefore, mentally, he may not have been prepared the way he should have been for Marvin Johnson. And right now, Marvin Johnson is definitely prepared for him physically and mentally.
And Johnson, of course, has seen Parlov fight.
Yes, but what I'm saying is he saw him fight, so therefore he's prepared mentally and physically.
Right.
Where on the other hand, Marty Parlov may not be doing as such, or may haven't done as such.
We've got 30 seconds to go in round 7. There have been no knockdowns in this light heavyweight title fight, coming to you live. An NBC Sports World special edition from Marsala, Sicily, late on a Saturday night, early in December. We've got 10 seconds to go now in the round 7. Okay, we get into round 8 now of this light heavyweight title fight. And by the way, we would ought to repeat, sending this picture to you live by satellite. If your picture is a little bit grainy, we're working on it. Our technicians are working on it. We hope to have it corrected for you as quickly as possible. Please bear with us. Here we are early in round 8 as Marvin Johnson attempts to wrest the light heavyweight title away from Monty Parlov of Yugoslavia here in Marsala, Sicily. And for those of you who might not know where Marsala is, we're about 60 miles southwest of Palermo and about 600 miles south of Rome. about 150 miles from African coast. We're just on the Mediterranean Sea on the western coast of Sicily. And Parlov has taken some punishment now. He begins to bleed again above the eye. He has his mouthpiece back. But I'm really impressed by the way Marvin Johnson's been carrying it to him, Ken.
He's been carrying it to him every round. He's going good straight left hand, as I stated before. He's working to the body good. And something that he's doing that Parlov didn't expect was he's coming across with a good straight right hand. Pardon me. Right hand is left hand. And our telling factor in the fight is to see whether he's throwing too many punches and that he's going to throw himself out. But the way he's throwing them now, everything's effective. The punches to the head's effective. The ones to the body, there's something to make the man bend over. And so far, he's doing very well.
I want to remind you, a lot of football coming up tomorrow on NBC. Big doubleheader coming up. A lot of games involving contenders still trying to make the playoffs, like Pittsburgh and Houston, New England and Dallas. Consult your local listings for the games and times in your area, and NFL 78 airs 1/2 hour before the game in your area.
Doing the fight now with the jabs that Marvin Johnson's throwing, with the straight left hand he's throwing. The face of Parlov is starting to swell. The cut above the eye is getting worse. The top lip, I guess, from losing the mouthpiece and getting hit. There might be a small cut on the inside. His lips are starting to swell. Johnson's now catching with a good right hook. Another good right hook.
Johnson bearing down with a minute to go here in round 8. We mentioned that Johnson has never had to go 15 rounds. The longest he's ever gone was 12, and he lost that fight to Matthew Franklin. He was knocked out. Now, whether that meant he ran out of steam or not, we don't know. We'll only be able to tell later on. That was a year ago, July. One of his 2 losses.
But then again, that's a like opponent for both fighters, but you can't really say, hey, this man is better than that man because he lost to one guy, the same guy.
We've got 20 seconds to go in round 8. No knockdowns, but it has been all Marvin Johnson from here, from the opening bell. And Parlov has to do something if he wants to retain his title in the last 7 rounds. Parlov has really taken a beating so far. He's received numerous punches. Same Olympics, Monty Parlov. We begin round 9.
Stu, I don't know whether this is has bearing on the fight or not, but I watched Monty Parlov between the rounds. He was blinking very rapidly. He was also like taking deep breaths and acting as though his body was in pain.
Now, we mentioned earlier, as Johnson continues to bear down on Parlov, we mentioned earlier, a tremendous left hand by Johnson. He's got Parlov in trouble. Parlov is in trouble. Johnson barreling in at him. He really leveled him with a left hand. He's got him in his own corner now, and Parlov is trying to weather this storm. Parlov says, come on in, and Johnson is landing with abandon now. Johnson is throwing everything from right and left field.
And everything he's throwing is landing. He's doing a good straight jab. He's throwing the uppercut. He's throwing a straight right hand. Everything's landing right on where he's throwing it for.
This
right
came in the opening moments of the 9th round as Johnson landed a tremendous left hand and another left hand to Parlov. And Parlov was wobbly there for a moment. Now can he weather the storm? We're only in the 9th round.
The thing right now is
another left hand by Johnson. Another left hand by Johnson. And another left and a right. And Parlov is in trouble. He's standing, but he's groggy. The legs are rubbery. Backing off as Johnson continues to bear in. Parlov's face is a rubbery mess.
What Johnson can do now, Stu, is a one good shot to the body to make him drop his guard. The next time he can come over the top because his hands are going to be down.
Get him to drop the gloves. Let's see if Marvin does that. Parlov is just up there on instinct right now. There's a minute to go in the round. Round 9. There have been no knockdowns, but Parlov has come close here as Johnson is throwing punches and landing.
Right, so he's throwing very good punches, but he can't afford to get careless now. He has the man on, we call it Queer Street. The man is hurt, but he can still think well. He's moving around. He's thinking well. Marvin Johnson cannot afford to get over anxious.
There's the punch down below that you were talking about. Now, did he drop his guard? Keeps those gloves up high. Johnson landing that punch to the midsection, trying to get Parlov, and he lands with an overhand left hand to Parlov, who comes back with a left of his own, but is tagged with a left hand. 30 seconds to go in what has been a furious ninth round, a big round for Marvin Johnson.
Very furious, and the cut is open again over Parlov's eye. And the thing about this, you cannot be saved by the bell.
You cannot be saved by the bell. Parlov missed, and Johnson missed on a swing and slipped. It was not a knockdown. It came with 10 seconds to go in round 9. It was not a knockdown. Parlov down. Almost knocked him down. A reminder to you, football doubleheader coming up tomorrow on December the 3rd on NBC. More than usual ring. This ring is only 16 foot square. Kenny Norton and I were out here yesterday and measured it off. The normal ring is 18 by 18. Johnson says it'll be
good hook.
Goes Parlov.
A very good right hook.
Down goes Parlov. The mandatory 8 count is in effect. It comes 1 minute into round 10. Trying to fight his way out of it. He was tagged by Johnson. That was the first knockdown of the fight. It came a minute into round 10. Parlov legs are rubbery again. Johnson's only marks a slight cut under the right eye. The light heavyweight championship of the world at stake here at Marsala, Sicily, 60 miles to the south of Palermo. And it's coming to you live on NBC. We're 2 minutes into round 10.
The thing now, as I said it before, Marvin Johnson can't afford to get careless. Right now he's on top. The man fears him. He's throwing good punches. So he has to keep moving into the jab. Keep using that good right hook he has. From the top to the bottom.
The crowd begins to chant. Parlov, a right hand, a left. Down goes Parlov. He went to his knees, went to his glove. Didn't quite go down. He was tagged with a tremendous right. The second time he's been down here in round 10. The mandatory 8 count comes in. And now the referee stops the fight. The referee has stopped the fight, and we've got a new light heavyweight champion of the world. Marvin Johnson, 24 years old, has dethroned Martin Parlov here, and we're going to wait here now. We're going to wait for the official time. The referee stopped the fight in the 10th round. It came with little less than a minute remaining. And we have a new WBC light heavyweight champion. He was the sentimental favorite, Johnson was, in the crowd here. But then when he was taking the fight to Parlov, the crowd went for Parlov. Now let's wait for the official announcement. Then we're going to try to get up into the ring and talk with the new light heavyweight champion. Are you surprised at that, Kenny Norton?
I was surprised at the fact that he initiated it from the beginning. Initiated action right from the start. He did not fear the man's power. The man was supposed to be stronger. He was supposed to be a better boxer. He didn't fear the man at all. He walked straight in. He initiated the action. He showed he had a good power. He showed he could work with the body. He showed he had a very good right hook. And he showed he was determined to win.
All right, we're waiting now for the official announcement of the decision. And for Marvin Johnson, this has to be the biggest moment of his young life. He's only 24 years old, a young man who went to Crispus Attucks High School in Indianapolis, graduated in '71, was the Golden Gloves champion as a light heavyweight, that dropped down to a middleweight in '72 at the Olympics. He was eliminated in the quarterfinals. Now he comes across the sea in his second overseas fight, and he gets a victory over Martin Parlov in the 10th round of a scheduled 15-round title fight here in Marsala, Sicily. And the crowd is buzzing about the outcome of this one. Parlov appears to be okay. He's wiping the blood off. He's just congratulated the new champion. We're still awaiting for the official time, and we're going to climb up into the ring as soon as we get that time. We're going to... Marvin Johnson is the new World Boxing Council light heavyweight champion of the world, and there is the former champion who held the title less than a year. He won it in January when he beat Coelho, Angel Coelho, in Milan. And now it will be up to Marvin Johnson in his first title fight. And he hasn't had too many fights. This is only his 23rd fight. Here's the decision.
Della decima ripresa e campione del mondo Marvin Johnson.
There it is. Marvin Johnson the new light heavyweight champion of the world and the World Boxing Council. And as NBC continues its preparation for the 1980 Olympic Games in Moscow, we'll be bringing you in the next 2 years great moments in Olympic history and the story of current athletes as they train for...